Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show Daily. I'm joined by Andy to chat about all things football.
It's life.
There you go. There you go. We have to talk about Watford. We've got to talk about Watford and the strange goings on at Watford. Nigel Pearson obviously sacked from his role with 2 games to go. Me and Ped touched on it, I think, the other day. We were talking about how berserk it was. But, I mean, what's your take on it? Yeah, don't get me wrong, he hasn't been amazing, but what's your take?
Good. To be fair, though, I think he's got the best points per game record for Watford in the Premier League. I think where they were when he came into where they are now is a much better situation. You've got to examine the parts of it, though. Nigel Pearson isn't, scared of coming forward as he's a person. I think the Pozzos as owners, especially the son, who's obviously took more of a role now, they've always been known for sacking managers. At times they had the same manager 3 times at Udinese when they were there. In the season that Watford got promoted, they had 4 managers to the Premier League, and they worked out. They sacked the manager who got them up, Slavisa Jokanovic, who obviously got Fulham up last year. So they've got previous, and it's always worked for them wherever they've been. And it's an Italian trait. Sack your manager with 2 games to go with, basically 140 million riding on it as a club owner is a bit mad. But obviously there was supposedly a row. I don't know how true it is. After the West Ham game, they got beat 3-1 by West Ham, and yeah, I think it seems to have fell apart. Pearson was a strange choice in the first place. He obviously had the relative success of keeping Leicester in the league, and then he went elsewhere. Then he ended up at Leuven, which is Leicester's team in Belgium. Never really worked out there. And then he got the Watford job, and I think he did well. I don't think they would have kept him on because he doesn't fit the model. But yeah, it's a bit weird. They sacked him with 2 games left.
Strange, isn't it? Because obviously he went in there and did that the stuff with Javi Gracia. Got rid of him after 3 games, having lauded him, given him a new contract.
FA Cup with finalists, yeah.
Then he got Kiko Flores Sanchez in, who did that before and sacked. Then he tried to get Javi Gracia back, despite him being in a legal battle with them over his contract and money. Went with Pearson. And he did. He's done all right with them. He's done okay, and obviously had a good result before lockdown. Beat Liverpool, the first team to beat Liverpool this season.
Thank God.
And yeah, thank God. And so they can't. I mean, they got Man City tonight.
Chalk that one off.
When this is out, people might be watching it later and they've already played. But they've got Manchester City tonight. Hayden Mullins is in charge. They can't be expecting anything out of that. Whether they or not they do, it depends on what City turn up, of course. But it means they'll be going to the final game, still being able to be relegated. And it's a bit of a mad one. I was just reading before about him, and it was saying his hard man approach, straight talking approach, and he's not backward in coming forward, and that might have had a clash of personality with the Pozzos, but surely they would have known the character they were getting beforehand.
They're a funny one, the Pozzos. As I say, the Italian method is that you keep managers on contract, and that's probably why they tried to get Javi Gracia back, because they keep managers on contract until they get a new job, which means then the councils, so they don't have to pay big massive money. And that's why you ended up with managers in Italy who have to come back 3 or 4 times in the same season because they're all still on contract. And obviously the Premier League's not really used to that. I think with Nigel Pearson, I think they have a very particular model where they like foreign managers to come in, and because the way the club structures, they bring players in, the manager really probably doesn't have a lot of say about who comes into the club, and they're like, not a yes man, but they're just like, they've got a coach essentially. And I don't think Pearson's one of those types of manager who just accept things. And if you speak to Watford fans though, they think that since the restart, it's gone a bit loose, as in terms of before lockdown they were one of the form sides, they played well, they picked up points. Since then it was starting to tail off, and they worry that maybe, not that he's lost the dressing room, but maybe he's not having as much of an effect now, and they suspect that he wouldn't have been here in the summer anyway, so maybe they're trying to get a new manager bounce by bringing Hayden Mullins in to get these last 2 games, but it's such a risk. It's a bit crazy. It's never been. I don't think it'd be like if they bring in Neil Warnock in for the last 2 games, Colin. You get it because that's his specialty, isn't it? Coming in and putting out fires, but to go with the interim manager for the last 2 games,
they've got City tonight and Arsenal away on Sunday.
Yeah, I only know Hayden Mullins playing for Crystal Palace and West Ham. Yeah. So I don't know anything about him as a coach.
So they've done it, and We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Exactly, but I mean, I don't know what they expect. I know when Marco Silva was there, maybe they'll go back for Silva.
Yeah, I think that's...
When Marco Silva was there, they were talking about Champions League at one stage there. And it's like, you've Watford, get established first, you know, finish high up.
They've spent 12 million on centre-backs since they came to the Premier League. You need better than that. And that's, you know, they've got a nice squad, I guess, but this year it's really, you know, really fell at the bottom, you know, the bottom's fallen.
I mean, to talk about Claude Puel, he looks like the early favourite.
Solid manager, yeah.
Solid manager, done. Was okay at Southampton, although their fans hated him.
Just okay.
Was okay at Leicester, although their fans hated him. So he'll probably go in, have Watford mid-table, I guess, with not in any danger.
And then he'll be changed out, yeah.
And he'll be moved out for something shinier.
I don't think Watford are ever going to be getting in like this new big project manager who's got ambition, because it's just not the model's just not built on it. Guidolin was a really good manager for them back in the day, but he had Alexis Sanchez and players like that. The Pozzo's used to be probably before the invention, the change in the way we do scouting, probably the best scouting system in the world at one time. You know, they even moved the scouts in to live next door to Alexis Sanchez when he was 14 to ensure him getting him going to the ads. That was their specialty. And but now football's changed. I don't think they've adapted well, and I think, I don't know. It's weird because in Italy this would be normal. So they go, oh yeah, there's another manager change, because Palermo used to change managers every other week under Zamperini, for example. But here it's very rare that this happens. So if it works, okay, great. I don't think people will be trying it. But if it doesn't work, how do you explain that one? You know.
I mean, you've got a 3-point gap. They're probably looking at Everton going, Everton will beat Bournemouth. We'll be all right. Don't hang your hat on Everton.
Maybe shouldn't have brought those snakes to the ground. But yeah.
We'll see. There was obviously 3 Premier League games last night. Brighton 0, Newcastle 0.
Classic.
A classic game there. Newcastle, I mean, they're an interesting one. Obviously, Saudi Arabian takeover still hasn't gone through. The fact that it hasn't gone away makes you think it might go through, whatever. But Bruce has just got on with it and done a decent job, hasn't he? You know, he hasn't had a lot of money.
Some very similar to what Rafa did, not as big a name manager. You know, they didn't buy incredibly well. He bought odd-fitting players, but, you know, hey, he's made it work. And at the end of the day, I think he's a likeable character, Steve Bruce. You know, I think he had a bit of a tough time, you know, obviously with some personal things. That's why when he was at Sheffield Wednesday, he had those couple of months off, didn't he? And he came back. And he's managed his boyhood club. I suppose it's a dream for everyone. He's done all right, yeah. Don't be wrong, I think, you know, if the owners are ambitious, they'll replace him, but I think he's done himself no harm. I think this is probably his best job he's done in the Premiership for a long time, so Premier League, so he's done for a long time.
All right. What have you made of Potter over at Brighton?
I think last season he did well with Swansea. They're doing better this season under Steve Cooper. I think he's like we're seeing, like Everton seeing, for example, you have teething problems trying to play a system with players who can't do it. Difference between Everton is they're probably not going to get relegated because, you know, they're too good to be relegated or whatever. Brighton not. It's been risky this season. There's times where they probably thought we're going to be in the relegation.
Got a couple of big wins that got them out of it.
Give them a 5-year deal. I think they've got some nice players. We'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to be able to spend this season, actually. I know they're looking for a couple of players, but it's going to be hard for them to take them on to another level without upgrading that squad. Got some nice players. I think Ben White, who's been on loan at Leeds this season, is very good. I think Leeds want to buy him for 35 million. So maybe they'll be able to use that to employ the squad. But I think he's done all right. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, he's been like, you know, revolutionary, because he just hasn't. He's done well. He's established a style of play. We'll see. It's a wait and see with him, I think.
38 points from 37 games.
It's all right.
I just remember someone telling me on Twitter he was the new Pep Guardiola, and Everton should have got him. But again, postage stamp knowledge. Everton won 1-0 at Sheffield United. Good header from Richarlison. Damaged, didn't do anything for Everton other than secured he couldn't go lower than 12th. But for Sheffield United, you know, a real damaging blow really, because if they'd have won, they'd have been a point behind Spurs. And 2 points behind Wolves in that Europa League race.
I think what really hurt Sheffield United is the break. They had momentum. They built up a bit of momentum, and then the break. They had a bit of a bad start to the restart, and then they had a couple of okay results. And now I don't know. I think that they've been quite a victim of the restart. I think, but what can you do? It's you know, they've had a good season.
Yeah,
they've established themselves. I think it's going to be tougher next season. I don't think they'll be able to buy enough good players. It's going to be very difficult to upgrade. So it's going to be it's going to be a tougher season, but they might surprise again. You never know. But I think the next season they're not going to take as many people by surprise, and I think managers will try and work out how to, like I think Carlo worked them out quite well last night in the sense that he did sort of play out their own game, and they struggled to do that. Once you become a more established side, it's when you have to start dominating games, and I don't think they've got the talent to do that yet.
No. And finally, obviously, Wolves, another good win for them. They beat Crystal Palace.
They're a machine, aren't they?
Soon. They are. He's just done really well. Obviously, Daniel Podence with the first, and Johnny.
He's settled all right. He's been
Johnny
good
with the
since
second. I think with Wolves, they're a team that is, they're just evidence of a pattern of play, a system that they don't really change a lot.
Big players in, it's already established. It's easy to get them going.
Appreciate it. So very workmanlike, but they've got that sprinkling of it, like Adama Traore, and they've got, Raul Jimenez has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Diego Jota's a good player, Evertonian as well.
And obviously got Neves.
They got Neves, so they real good, and Cody at the back has been excellent. So they've done really well. Just a well-coached side. And very methodical at what they do, but they're going to be playing in August as well, which means their season will have started in July.
So they've got a nice little build-up,
Start in July and finish in August, which is incredible, isn't it? But they've done quite well, and what that's done is put them in 6th place now. So they win. Well, Sheffield United can't catch them, so they're in Europe, aren't they?
Yeah.
Qualify for Europe, so
progress,
Arsenal have got a game in hand. Arsenal can catch them, but they'd need the 5 goals worse off Arsenal, so they'd have to.
Arsenal guarantee the European place now, almost.
No.
Sorry,
they'd have to win. No, they're out of it at the moment.
Yeah.
They'll have to obviously win the FA Cup. So, Wolves have been excellent again this season. Fair play to him. Over in Serie A, Ronaldo, Juventus won the big one, didn't he, against Lazio?
Never stop scoring.
Cristiano Ronaldo with another brace, Immobile for Lazio over there. Juventus now 8 points clear of Inter Milan.
It's sad what happened to that league, because you had this really exciting 3-way title race, and then Juventus, because they're just a machine themselves, just stretched it away, and obviously Lazio fell away, and Inter have had a couple of problems. It was really shaping up to be a really exciting end of the season. I just love Atalanta, though. I think they're the really exciting team.
Flying, aren't they? They're absolutely.
Scored as many or more goals than Man City now. It's unbelievable.
Flying.
A model club, aren't they?
Flying and doing really well. I mean, what have you made of Sarri? Because I noticed there was a lot of noise yesterday saying that he's under pressure, and a couple of people want him out because they've limped to the title.
The thing with it, so Juventus are a club that's always had the motto of win basically by any means necessary, and it's never been style. It's always been win and win trophies. That's it. I think what they tried to do with Sarri is they wanted to change the image, because they've, ever since the Ronaldo sign, they changed the badge. They want to become this brand. They want a Juventus style of football, and obviously when Sarri was at Napoli, they were one of the most exciting teams in Europe. Went to Chelsea, found it a bit hard to deal with the English game. I think he did quite well myself in his first season. I'm a big fan of Sarri and his style of football, but he isn't your really quintessential Juventus manager. He's not great with the press. He has problems with, the players and some of the players. And he plays the same team all the time. I don't know. It's an adaptation. I think he'd need, different players. They've got Arthur instead of Pjanic now. He made Pjanic work for the first half of the season. He's not been as good in the second half. And I think he needs more of players who fit his system than having the Juventus are fairly workman-like side. They had a couple of sprinkling of real talent, like they went under Allegri. That season they made the Champions League final. They had Pogba, obviously that's sprinkling of talent. They've got Dybala, they've now got Ronaldo, but the rest of the team really works as a functional unit, and they're trying to change that. So I think the Juventus fans still won the league. I think they're still in the Champions League.
Yeah, 1-0 down to Lyon, aren't they?
Which they should overturn. Let's be realistic here. But Lyon haven't played in months. I know they're playing friendlies now, but I don't think he's done that badly. I think they just need to give him another year and see where they go. The minimum for Juventus is to win the league title. He's done that. It's now to get that style of play and become more dominant in Europe as well.
It's going to be interesting. It really is. Ronaldo, just a machine, isn't he?
He's become more. He's now a 9, really, isn't he? He's not the same. He's but he's changed the way he's played. He's now a natural 9. But as I said to you, I think he's only not scored in one game since about November or October. It's just unbelievable.
Him and Messi are just
They're still the best two
It's
players in the
just
world. I know,
ridiculous.
people say, oh, this person deserves the Ballon d'Or. They're still the two best players in the
Well,
world.
they've scrapped the Ballon d'Or, haven't they? That was
called
news.
the Messi Ronaldo trophy.
That was news yesterday that there would be no Ballon d'Or this year, but the pair of them are still just ridiculous, aren't they? Obviously, Messi scored the other night for Barca. He's done it.
Best pass from world football as well.
Night. Couple of transfer stories bouncing around today. Man City interested in Nathan Ake, it looks like. I'll be honest, I've no clue why. I think he's massively average. He really is.
I don't think he's great at centre half on his own, in a two, sorry. I think he's good in a three. I think he can play left back as well. I think what it is with them is they've had issues at left back with obviously Benjamin Mendy's not been the player they bought. The injury really, and his applications have probably been in question at times. I think he gives them a player who, I think they've come up with the idea that John Stones probably isn't right for them. And also Mendy's never really going to get any better. So I think they're trying to freshen it up there. I think they'll still sign a number one centre-back. I don't think he's No, I think he's more someone who's going to be that utility player who can play left back. Because he is good on the ball. He can carry out from the back. And I think in Champions League
He's
games,
not a raider though, is he?
No, but in Champions League games though, you could make a back three, and then you have Kyle Walker who can't defend to save his life. Yeah, you have him raid then, and that's the way they'll work it. Obviously, need to bring in a left winger to replace Sané to make that work. But I get it. I don't think it's the best, but I think Man City, as I said, so you need to be more sure of the players. They can't afford to buy players who are not going to work for Pep. And I think Pep's looked at Nathan Ake and thinks, yeah, I can make him work. And he's not. I don't think he's a number one player that you'd sign. I wouldn't expect Everton to go and spend 35 million on him, for example. But he's a decent Premier League player. Yeah.
John Stones, who Arsenal is doing the rounds. Could you see that happening?
I think Arsenal have got enough John Stones types already. You know, I think Arsenal need a stopper to play with. Well, I know they've got William Saliba, but they need someone a bit steady. I know Pablo Maurice probably thinks that player. He's quite tough as a defender, but I don't think he's that great. But I don't see them buying John Stones. I've always said that John Stones will probably have to be a defensive midfielder if he's going to be anything. I think that's his best position. I think in Man City he could have worked out as a defensive midfielder.
There's a gap there because Fernandinho's 35.
Yeah, they've got Rodri. They need someone else, but I don't know. I think John Stones it's quite hard to wedge him in certain teams. Like you couldn't go and play for Palace because you're required to defend a lot more, aren't you?
Yeah. Interesting. Callum Hudson-Odoi could be available. He's unhappy. He's come out and said he's not happy with his amount of game time at Chelsea. There's a lot of rumours that he wants to leave. He obviously very nearly went to Bayern Munich last year and he got the injury, didn't he? And Chelsea gave him a new contract while he was injured because he was coming out of contract, wasn't he? What are your thoughts on him? It's a bad injury, but he's a good player, isn't he?
I think I've seen someone say he's below average today. I was laughing my head off for about 10 minutes. I just thought, what do people watch? He really is good. I think the problem is he's had that injury. He's come back. He's had a couple more injuries. He's not really been able to get a settled place for the side. I think if he went somewhere at a season where he doesn't get injured and plays every game, so much talent. I think he can play right or left. He can score goals. He can create. He's very creative. I think he's played about 800 minutes in the Premier League this season, 4 assists. I think he's a really good player. I think people are missing the boat on him. I think we often, when people are bigged up so much, people often obviously want to rail against that. But I think I don't know. I think there's a place for him at Chelsea. But then now they've got Pulisic, they've got Ziyech coming in. They're probably going to start. Then you've got him. There's other players. You've got William and Pedro leaving. But I think he wants to start. If I was a club, I would definitely take him on loan for a year, but I would only take him on loan if I had an option to buy. How much would they want? That's the tough point. You're still probably going to get 35-40 million Hudson-Odoi. It's very difficult, but he's a good player.
Eric Dyer signed a new deal at Spurs.
Why?
Till 2024. He's been playing centre-back, hasn't he?
He's all right.
I suppose he's a better centre-back than he is defensive midfield player.
I think he's a Mourinho type. Mourinho likes those type of players. I think Tottenham don't have a lot of money, so they can't afford to let players go. So they've got to, he's probably still retained some value anyway. He's had a good career. If you think he left Everton and Everton didn't do much with him, and he went back to Sporting Lisbon. He's gone to Tottenham. He's been good. Yeah.
He's done well, hasn't he? David Moyes said the difference between him and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United is that they give Gunnar Solskjaer time, and they didn't give him time.
I think the issue with if David Moyes had been the Everton David Moyes now, came into Man United, he would have had a much better shot at it.
Yeah.
The issue at the time was there was a lot of transition, They didn't really do that well on the transfer market, and he had an aging team, and he did need time. I don't know. There was a lot of strangeness about that. I don't think he was the Hollywood manager. They went straight to Hollywood managers after him, and they didn't really have the stomach for a project for whatever reason, Man United. But now they have. Maybe because Ollie's a legend. He is a legend in a sense. You know, I think Ollie's done quite a good job myself, but I do think Moyes has got a right to be, you know, a bit sour about it, because I think he was given 8 months, and he did all right, but.
I feel for Moyes, but he was stupid in being the man that followed Ferguson.
No, you never should be.
Never have gone there.
I know it's Liverpool when's ever worked out.
Yeah, it's just such a big ask, wasn't it? Yeah. That whoever went in after Ferguson was on hiding to nothing, basically. Benjamin Fairclough on Patreon says, do you ever think Atleti will win La Liga?
Atletico Madrid?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've won it in the past.
Won it in 16, didn't he? Was it 2016?
No, 14, 13, 14.
Was it 14? Was it that
like
far back? Jeez.
Yeah, it's one of Simeone came in 10, 11, so yeah, it would have been around then. Yeah, it's difficult. The problem with Atletico Madrid is, obviously, even though they've spent money, it's very hard to bridge the gap to the other two. The other two are just so good. Also, I think Simeone's, at the start of the season, he tried to change the style of play. It didn't really work. Then they've gone back to playing how they really work. And it limits them in some ways because they draw too many games and lose ground. Then I think they can do. I still think they're by far and away the second, third best team in that league. The other two obviously being the best. So yeah, I think they could win it one day again. Maybe I don't know how long he's going to be there. I think he'll probably stay forever. Maybe, but who knows?
Need a centre forward, don't they? I know Costa's getting on.
They need a
Griezmann,
Simeone centre forward. Yeah, I think João Felix is a good player. It limits them really in that system.
Needs to be in a more expansive team. I think João Felix, but he's a hell of a player. Gareth Hughes also on Patreon says, I really hope Watford go down now. They were bottom and Pearson took over, and now they probably need 1 point from the last two to stay up, but I'd love them to go down. That's it, isn't it? I mean, that's people.
You don't wish relegation or anyone because it'd be horrible as a club.
No, but what he's saying is, he got them out of it, and
it's you know, as I said,
that's their way, isn't it?
It's their way. That's their way.
Just a couple of other stories very quickly before we finish. Arsenal are willing to trigger Sporting Lisbon teen sensation Jolson Fernandes. 40 million release clause. Arsenal haven't got 40 million, so that's nonsense. Sporting Lisbon rubbing their hands at a £4.5 million unexpected bonus because United are in Champions League for Fernandes. Leeds, Radriani, anyone who's watched the documentary will know that he likes to make bold predictions. But he's after Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Edinson Cavani.
I think Cavani fits them more than Zlatan. I know someone will disagree with me there, but Zlatan's not exactly known for his super pressing, is he?
No. Mad. I'd seen like the Leeds chairman, I think, or the CEO the other day talking about Champions League football.
Run before you can walk.
Do well to stay up. They'll do well to stay up next season, and that should be the first port of call. Survive and then try to build. Arsenal misfit Mesut Ozil turns down a move to Fenerbahce because they can't pay his £350,000 a week wages. So
why did they even bid if they knew they couldn't pay it?
Because he possibly thought he'd just come back. He'd go to Turkey. His wife's Miss Turkey, isn't she? She wants out of the Emirates. He's earned
live at the Emirates?
She lives there. Stupid money. Amounts of money. He'll never have to do anything in the rest of his life. Why wouldn't you, for the sake of playing football?
I think what he hopes is Arsenal loan him there and they pay half the wages and they pay the other. I think that's probably a solution that fits. But Arsenal want the money for him and him off the wage bill.
This, for me, is why either wage caps have to come in or performance-related pay.
How old is he now? 30?
30, yeah.
Right, so they signed that deal, but he was, 28? Don't give 20
Why did he even give? Why did he give him the deal? Chelsea set to offer Ross Barkley and Michy Batshuayi for Declan Rice.
I think they'd take that all day, but I think Rice has, he's certainly improved over this lockdown period. We'll see if he can carry it into next season. He's been better on the ball. But then at West Ham, the problem is you'd have to play Batshuayi and Haller will probably work, but Moyes never really played two strikers. I know, KL did work as a striker really, but he's always preferred that 4-5-1, 4-2-3-1, hasn't he? So.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand asked Wilf Sahar, wouldn't he like to see if he could do it at a bigger club?
That's nice, isn't it? What do Palace fans feel about that?
I know.
Well, he tried last season, and the issue is the biggest mistake Zaha ever made was signing that 5-year deal.
I was just going to say it's
all well good having the money short term, but he probably would have made it back in spades.
that's it. He ruined himself really because he's 27 now.
He goes off.
No one's paying
60
what Palace want for him.
It's worth more to Palace to keep him because he keeps them in the Premier League.
Of course it is.
To sell
Of course it is. So he's going to get. He's 28, I think, later this year.
September. Yeah.
September. So sorry, in 6-8 weeks. So no one's paying him 160, 170 grand a week plus 60 million to get him out of there. So
not especially with a player who's obviously relies a lot on the dynamism and pace. He's obviously a very skillful player, don't be wrong, but
he is a really good player.
His dynamism is what sets him apart from other players, and I think you're not going to pay that money. You're not 30, 31, 32. Is he going to have that same value to your team? Probably not. I think you know why. He tried Man United, it didn't work for whatever reason. I think he should start. Palace is not a bad. He's done well. He's a Palace legend. There was worse things than being. I know he's obviously good and better than Palace a lot of times. He hasn't been that great this season, but Palace can't afford to sell a player like that.
He's got to just accept that he made the mistake. So exactly, you know, he's earned the money. Palace have paid him a hell of a lot of money, more than he probably should have done, and he's just got to accept it, hasn't he? Just very quickly before we finish, what did you make of Jude Bellingham moving to Dortmund?
Great, yeah. I thought that's a really smart move from him. I think you've got to really respect Jude Bellingham's parents in the sense that the way they worked, it was not who's going to pay my son the most, and the way that they spoke to a lot of clubs, Premier League clubs, and they wanted a pathway for the first team. They wanted them to play in and around the first team, not go and play in someone's under 23s or, you know. And Dortmund, they looked at it and they weighed it all up and they thought they were the best, which they are. If you look at all those young players they've signed, most of them have worked. I know Isak didn't work out, but he's doing well now at Sociedad. But most of them have done. I think that's the best place for him to go. If he went to Man United, let's be honest, Man United could have said that they would have played him in the first team. Pogba, Fernandes, he's not getting the first team, is he? Let's be honest. And you know, I think other Premier League clubs looked at him, but realistically, they might have said that he could play, but he wouldn't have played. And I think he's gone somewhere where they will make the most of his talent. I think that's a really good. I think that's what all the young players should consider rather than sit on the, you know, in the under 23s or on the bench for big clubs. Go and play football. Go and earn yourself and move elsewhere.
Well, if you look at them, yeah, I mean the likes of Sancho and you've obviously got Haaland and you've had Gotcha. So there's just been so many, haven't you? Reyna's in their team now, good, Claudio Reyna's lads. So they've got some. They've had some really good players, haven't they? And they've just had the kid who Real Madrid have had, who loaned him for 2 years. Hakimi's just signed for Inter. So they do have a lot of young players, and they develop them brilliantly. It's a great place for them to.
And Germany's a good place for him. They valued player development and coaching. He's a good player now. He's got physically ready as well. I think they'll make him a better player. And then you come back to England in a much better position if you ever want to come back, and you get the pick of his clubs.
There you go. Big thanks to Andy. Make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and if you want to watch this live, join us over on Patreon, where you can take part in the show. See you later.
Toodles.